So the topics in the book are designed to be useful to people in a number of different ways. So there's practical topics, but there's also the language that you need to join in and be part of and take part. And I actually had some surprises on this because I wrote the first edition of this book after spending 3 months volunteer teaching a group of Afghan ladies and who were complete beginners. And I just noticed, what did they need to be able to say and couldn't say? And that was basically what I wrote down and taught them. And it wasn't the things that I kind of thought it would be. So people talk a lot, it turns out, about possessions, is this mine, it's yours, or where to sit, can I sit here, shall I help you with that? All of those sort of little minor interactions around things turned out to be quite important. So we've put them in here. Equally, the kind of things that we say when we want to make a connection with somebody, like the small talk stuff, how was your weekend? What are your plans? Those are the things that people will try and talk about when they're reaching out to you to make a connection. If you know somebody a little bit and you're in the playground while you're picking up your kid, that's the kind of stuff people will ask. So all of those things are in here too, because if you're standing feeling very isolated and somebody says something like that to you, you may not know how to ask that question yourself, but if you understand what it means, you've got a chance of finding a very simple answer. And that's really the difference between receptive language, the language we need to be able to listen to and understand, and productive language, the things we need to be able to say. In the videos which go with the book, and this is actually the Afghan version, so there's a lot less on one page and a bit more of the phonics. The other language versions are a bit more condensed, but they all have these QR codes. So the QR code links to a video, and there's a video for each of the topics in here. And in the video, we're practicing how to say things that are useful to say. So you won't find in the video going over and over the questions to understand. What you will find is the things that the productive language, the stuff we want them to know how to speak on the whole. Then there's a whole load of other stuff in here which helps with things like medical language for going to the doctor, for example, or language for when you have children with you and, is he okay? Where are the toilets, please? All of those kind of transactional bits of language. Right, so orientation and directions are in here. There's the greetings and quite a bit as well around being polite. So, for example, you might be somebody who speaks a fair bit of English, but you haven't got the nuance. So I had somebody who was helping me and he was an engineer. And he said, give me the screwdriver, give me the thing. And I was trying to teach him to say, well, actually, can I have? Because that feels much more friendly and feels much more polite. Now, I know that he doesn't. For him, give me is just as polite. But so it's getting the language which isn't going to get people's hackles up sometimes and giving those little soft sort of ways in, which can be really helpful. And quite a bit of that is in the book. The shall I help you and can I do this? If you're getting technical from a grammar point of view, then modal verbs, they're the ones that are all those sort of transactional type encounters for people. And usually you wouldn't teach that to beginners, because if you were teaching on a sort of level by level grammar based approach, you'd have to be quite a high level learner before you tackle something like a modal verb. But because we come at this quite differently, we're not worried about the grammar. We're not worried about how the sentence is built or what the individual words mean. We're working here on something like the whole sentence approach, chunks of language, functional approach. So all we want is for somebody to know that if they learn a chain of sounds, that chain of sounds means this, and if they produce that, then they're going to get the response they want. And anyone can do that. A complete beginner can do it. And actually, interestingly, people without first language literacy who can't read and write often have a much better oral grasp and can hear and remember much quicker, because that's what they've been doing all their lives with new information. So you might find that sort of the complete beginner on the literacy level is really good at getting that oral language quite quickly. Now, because we are going with whole sentences or whole little dialogues, when we teach it, we don't go anywhere near the reading and writing at first. So if I was going to teach a new thing, first of all, I would give a little demonstration with one other person if I've got that person. Then I would help people with how to make the sounds, and I'd do that. I'd say it and they'd say it back to me, and we'd sort of go backwards and forwards. And often, actually, I'd start at the end of the sentence. So if I was going to teach somebody, can I help you? I would start with you, and then they'd repeat back. Should we try it? So you,
You.
you,
You.
help you,
Help you.
help you,
Help you.
help you.
Help you.
So not help you,
Help you.
I help you,
Help you.
I help you,
I help you.
can I help you,
Can I help?
can I help you?
Can I help you?
And what you can see is that we're not interested in teaching, can I help you?
Okay.
That isn't going to help them because nobody speaks like that. When we speak, we squash words together and the sounds actually change. Most English speakers don't really think about this or need to think about it because they just understand. But if you break it down, what you've got is, can I help you? Help you. Rather than can I help you? And if they don't understand what somebody's saying or know how to say it that way, they're never really going to fit in. So we're going to teach them those sounds. Because that might be a bit harder for somebody to do if they're not a trained professional language teacher, all the videos cover that stuff. So you don't need to worry too much. You can listen to the videos, or you can get them to listen to the videos to get that pronunciation using that technique of starting from the back at the end of the sentence and working backwards. It's all in the videos, it's all in the book. But the idea is that I would teach the group to do that, and then we would go around the group in a circle and listen to each person in turn and help each other, and then we get people in pairs practicing together. So that drill of call and response, round the circle, in pairs, a very simple way to sort of introduce new language without reading and writing it down. You'll always get at least one person who's a bit cross about that. Like, can you write it down, please? I need to see it. And they get the idea quite quickly after about half an hour. Like, oh, actually, yes, this is quite helpful because maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was at making these sounds. And of course, once we've learned how to say it, we do put it, so I'll write it up on a board. People can see it and they can remember it that way. But I would always say, use the video first before you use the page in the book, or teach it spoken before you write it down if you haven't got the book here to use. Is a really good way to go at teaching people something you want them to learn orally and learn the sounds of rather than learn the grammar and the structure of.